And welcome back to my channel, unless you're new here. And then it's just welcome. My name is Rusty, and this is me chat where I talk about my favorite movies, mostly horror, and my favorite music, mostly metal. And welcome to day 3 of my Battle Royale festival, and we are going to be talking about the 2005 traditional Battle Royale named House of Nine. Now, as I said, House of Nine was released in the year 2005. It is directed by Stephen R. Monroe, written by Philippe Vidal, starring Dennis Hopper, Kelly Brook, and Hippolyte Girardot. Yes, it is. Now, this movie opens with Leah leaving a club where she is KO'd and thrown into a car. We see Max transporting, he's like a cop, so he's transporting a prisoner and then he's KO'd. We see various other people being KO'd and at various points in town. So they all wake up to find themselves in this really beautiful, large house looking thing. It's a beautiful foyer, dining room, kitchen, beautiful staircase, second floor. There's double bedded rooms down the hall. So, they all wake up on beds. They end up going out. You have Father Duffy, that's Dennis Hopper. You have Leah, Claire, Jay, Francis, Al B, Max, Shauna, and Cynthia. So they all are in the foyer. They meet and greet when they hear a voice. And this is the only time you hear the voice in the entire movie. And it says, "Welcome to the house. I'm sure you're wondering why you're here. You were chosen at random. There's nothing about you that's in common. You're here for what you are, not any connections you have with each other. You're mice in a lab. It is a test of human character, and it's also for my entertainment. The place has 75 cams, and you will not find them all. One winner, the person who is left, will win a duffel bag with $5 million in it. Be the only one left alive. Good luck. And that's it. He never says anything else to them. He never comes back on. It's just left like that. And they are just left to deal with their situation. So, of course, they start, figure out, well, it's kind of obvious, no. Max was being transported to prison because Jay's the cop. Both of them were KO'd. Okay. So, Jay uses his gun to try to shoot the brick windows and he tries to shoot the door. They end up, picking up the table. It's a big granite table, so it takes all of them, and they try to bash the front door open of the foyer, but they can't get it to work. They, of course, know that he wants them to kill each other. So they start trying to find a way out. They can't find nothing. They regroup. They actually kind of discuss, what are we going to do? Is anyone going to play this game? And the cop, he's like, I don't care whether any of you wants to play this game or not. I'm a cop, and I will kill you if you try to kill someone here. So, and they all kind of agree that they're not murderers. They were just normal people doing normal things. Actually, one of them was a semi-celebrity tennis star. I think it's Claire. One of them is a famous fashion. So actually, two of them are actually well known, so one's, I think it's Max is the fashion guy, and Claire is a tennis star, not like Martina Navratilova or something, but similar. She's a half-ass one. So, yeah. They can't find any connection between each other. They check for any other way to get out. You start seeing, they hear a noise in the kitchen and they go, and it's like a big plate of food. They're given baked potatoes and chicken breasts. And this is what they're fed every time, right? So they sit down and they have this little dinner, one potato and one piece of chicken for each person. And there's lots of funny personality clashes because, these people are pretty bitchy, I probably would be too in this situation. But so you see a lot of funny personality clashes, introductions. You even see that Shauna has an ankle monitor, and she's bitching because, if she doesn't get to her parole officer, that she'll be sent back to jail. So there's stuff like that. They argue again, about whether anyone's going to do anything. They go to sleep in their rooms. Francis and Cynthia are actually a married couple, so they were kidnapped together. So actually there was two people that are connected, but it's only that. They're a married couple that was kidnapped together. So during the dark, while they're asleep, somebody came into the room and tried to steal Jay's gun. So tempers flare. You have this cool living room conversation, lots of paranoia, noise. They think somebody's at the door. So they start like screaming and banging and carrying on. We can tell, the one that I could tell was the most weird was this Francis guy, the one married to Cynthia. He just, he looks a little skanky. He looks like, because he even talked to her about maybe we should do this, and get all of our money back because we used to be so rich. So he's like the one that I'm thinking at this point in the movie is the most dangerous, the one that could possibly cause some trouble. We even see him making a glass shard in the bathroom. The rest of them are drinking, dancing, playing music, because it's just like a regular, beautiful house. So they're all dancing in the living room and stuff like that. Cynthia and Al B even start dancing and getting a little fresh, because they're all fucking drunk off their ass, except for Francis and the preacher, Father Duffy. So Francis comes in and he catches, Al B kind of standing over Cynthia, and they're kind of flirtatious, and they start a fight, at which point Cynthia tries to interject, and Al B ends up pushing Cynthia away. She trips, and she falls and hits the back of her head on this wrought iron balcony thing, and it kills her ass right there. Bleeds out quick. She's dead. So Jay gets the gun and locks Al B in the room. You killed her, and he's like, I didn't. I just pushed her away. So they're also getting less and less food each time the food delivery little thing comes in the kitchen. So Duffy fucks up, Father Duffy, because they're refusing to feed, because they're getting less and less food. So they're refusing to go feed Albie, something. And Father Duffy ends up going up there and unlocks the door to give him a little bit of food. As soon as Jay realized that that's what that fucker had went to do, he chased after him. and he gets there right when he gets the door open, and Jay comes out, and they start a fight, and he, like, wow, he, like, beats Jay to death. I mean, he is wailing on him with that crowbar thing that he had locked the door with. You know, because it's those doors with the handles that you can pull. You know, so he had locked the door so he couldn't get out. And he beat him to death with that. And I mean bloody ugly across the head. And so Albie kills Jay. And Duffy manages to get Jay's gun because Jay hands it to Duffy. Once Albie gets control of himself again, he runs back in the bedroom. And Duffy tries to comfort Jay, which is stupid because you're the fucker that caused this. If he hadn't went up there being a bleeding heart, this wouldn't have happened. But Jay gives him the gun because he knows he's the most sane, if you will, or the most trustworthy. So they put Jay's body with Cynthia. Now, the next food delivery is huge and has a note with it that says, "Good work." So Francis ends up going up there and feeding Albie. And they realize that if you do what the guy wanted you to do and kill each other, you would get these big giant plates of food. So Duffy and Leah end up finding Albie hung. And you're like, yeah, but did Francis do that? Or did Albie do that? You know. And they accuse Francis of it, but he denies it. They're all becoming very unstable, as you can imagine. Max and Duffy end up talking down in the kitchen, worried about the others. Claire and Shauna have a big cat fight, which is pretty funny and good. Francis ends up electrocuting Leah. I told you, he was like the evil motherfucker in this group. And so he electrocutes Leah. Claire ends up stabbing Shauna in the neck with a corkscrew. That was a fucked up scene. But I didn't see that coming. And that death, Shauna's death with the fucking corkscrew and blood, you know, that was a damn good kill scene. Duffy and Max find Shauna's body, and then they find Leah's body. And Father Duffy knows that Francis did it. And, you know, he goes to shit. Well, Francis has like completely just come out the closet, right? Because he's just like, yeah, okay, well, now everybody knows what you're gonna do, shoot me, you know, what the fuck? So he really starts acting like a dick. And, but he won't shoot him. So like I said, yeah, Father Duffy knows that Francis did it, holds the gun on him. But Francis knows that he ain't got the balls to shoot him because he's a priest, you know. So he ends up, you know, pushing him away. Claire asks Max to team up. She goes down there where Max is because Max is like eating that food. He's obviously got some kind of mental thing about food. Maybe he was a starving child, but he definitely is down there about the food, and that's where Claire finds him. Now remember, she's killed Shauna, so she's down there and wanting kind of Max to team up with her, but Max ends up trying to strangle her. You know, food is the key. Food is the key. So I think he's like, his fear is starving to death in there. So he asks so Claire asks Max to team up. Then we see a twist and a surprise, and that is that Leah, you know, that Francis had electrocuted, she wasn't dead. It just knocked her unconscious. She wakes up. Okay, she's not dead. So everybody thinks she's dead up there in her room, including Francis, but she's not. So Father Duffy does end up shooting Francis in the stomach in another confrontation.
Max strangles Claire. Father Duffy comes while he's trying to strangle Claire and shoots him in the head. Francis runs in, puts glass shard in Duffy's back. So he kills, he puts the shard in Duffy's back, Father Duffy's back, gets the gun from him, and then executes him in the forehead with that gun as he's on his knees on the floor. So he drops the gun, thinks he's won, because he kills Claire too. And he thinks he's won, so he drops the gun, and then all of a sudden, he hears noise upstairs. That's Leah, because she's awake. So he goes up there, looking for her, chases her when he sees her. She runs, traps her under her bed. She stabs him, runs. They have a face-off on the second floor, where they end up both in the big fight, where Cynthia had cracked her skull open. That's exactly where they are again. And they end up fighting and falling onto the table below, where Leah has buried that shard into Francis's chest. So she stabs him, when they fell down on there. And of course his body broke the fall. And it's not really that far, it's just one floor. So, and you didn't land on the floor, you landed on the table, which was about 2 feet off the floor, 3 feet off the floor. So the fall wouldn't have killed him anyway, but she landed on top of him, and that's how she stabbed him through the chest. Now he, of course, in his craziness, does this little death spasm and shit like that, and then he dies. And the door opens. She walks out, and there is this big green duffel bag. So she picks up the duffel bag, and she goes through the door, and the door closes behind her. And you're freaked the fuck out. You're freaked the fuck out because when she walks out the door into the next door and that door closes behind her, she looks around and it's an exact fucking mirror room of the room she just left. And there's 4 people, bloody, shaken, all holding a green duffel bag just like her. So there's obviously been 5 groups that this guy has just watched do this shit. And 4 of the other 4 survivors from the other rooms are standing right there, all holding their duffel bags. A couple of them looking pretty rough. Blood and shit, because they obviously had to fight to stay alive. So you're left to wonder, is it over and they're just all going to leave? Or is it the fact that since she walked out into an exact mirror of the fucking room, foyer she just walked out of, are now they expected to fight? Like catching fire in the Hunger Games? They brought the winners back to fight each other? So I was a little pissed at that because I usually don't like shit where you're like left to just, what do they call that? Make up your own ending. I always think it's a cop-out. Like that movie Life with Jake Gyllenhaal, and boy, let me tell you what, that movie pissed me off. That movie pissed me off. I mean, I have it, and it's good up until that last moment. But that last 60 seconds of that movie just pisses me off. Because I don't like that. You thought he had gotten spun out into space, and she was landing on Earth, and instead it was the other way around. And he's sitting there with this creature in the fucking thing, and a couple of boats coming up there to open the window while he screams, "Don't."
And the movie ends and you're like, oh man, Mr. Director, if I had your phone number and I could somehow convince you to come visit me, just let's come have dinner with me, I'll bury your ass in the backyard. That's how fucking pissed off I was. Because I don't like that shit. I'm like, no, you don't leave me not knowing what happened. Because the first thing I did was go and like, is there a fucking sequel to this? Is there going to be a sequel? Oh no, we just left it that way. And I'm like, that's when I'll invite you over and bury you in the yard. Okay? It's like District 9. I'd like to beat the hell out of him too. You don't send them off to space and not tell us what the fuck's happened. What's going to happen? Or, just consider the end whatever you want to make it. And I'm like, well, I'll consider your ass tomato plant food. How's that for considering something? I hate when it's such a cop-out, There should be a sequel to District 9. There should be a sequel to Life. You don't just do that. It's stupid. But anyway. That felt better. So anyway, she's sitting there looking at these 4 other traumatized survivors with their duffel bags full of $5 million. And you're like, are they going to be made to fight again? Or are these just the survivors that are all going to be let go with their $5 million? You want to think they're just going to be let go, but then again, he was an evil motherfucker, right? So he's probably going to make them fight. I just refuse. I'd just be like, kill me then. Whatever. So, you can only push me so far. Now, there is an alternate ending, and that is what I like. But I couldn't find it on the DVD, but like every place I looked said, the DVD has the alternate ending. I said, not that I can find. Usually it's in the special features, but I couldn't find the motherfucker. And that pissed me off. But anyway, the alternate ending is that she is KO'd at the end. When she walks out the door and gets the duffel bag. She's KO'd at the end. And then she wakes up in her own bed at home. And she thinks it's all a terrible dream until she looks over there and sees that duffel bag. And beside it is a small television, a little small television, in which there's a tape, and the tape says, you are now a member of the world's most exclusive Survivor Club. And she sees another room of people. It's a monitor, and she sees another room. I guess it's like going, you can watch if you want to now, because you're part of the club. And it says happy viewing. And then it goes off. And I was like, oh yeah, I like that a lot better. I do. I like that ending a lot better. And I'm not a happy ending freak. It's like, you don't have to give me a happy ending. But you do have to give me some resolution. You do have to give me some conclusion. Life, that movie did not have a conclusion. Oh yeah, the motherfuckers let that thing loose on Earth, and what's going to happen? I don't know. District 9, he got away and he flew off into space in the space shuttle. What happened? I don't know. And that's exactly why I'd beat the fuck out of them and possibly bury them under the tomato plants in the backyard. Because it's rude. It's just rude. So I do like the fact that if you don't like the original ending of them her standing there looking at 4 other survivors, and like you don't know, are they going to be made to fight, or are they just going to go? Because they all look like it just happened. That's not a conclusion. Leaving you to decide whether he's going to let them go now, like he promised, or whether they are going to have to fight each other. For what purpose, I don't know. You say, all right, look, this is the reason why that ending doesn't work. You see, if the one thing, think about it, if the one thing that you promised these 9 people as a goal to get them to lose it and kill each other was the promise that if they won, you would let them go with a duffel bag full of $5 million. If the survivor, in this case Leah, if she walks out and is suddenly in the same in a mirror room and told do it again, there's no motivation. You're not the 5 survivors that she sees anyway. I guess it's possible that there could be 9 rooms and he's waiting for all 9 survivors. What's the motivation, man? 9 times 5 million? But you didn't let them go the first time. Trust. We've lost trust. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what I would do. I would just go, oh no, I mean, I'll kill them if they jump me. But as far as me trying to win some game, me going to actually literally kill them to be let go with 9 times 5 million, no, because that's what you told me to begin with, and I survived. We're back to the bitch from District 4? Where is that? The logging? You know who I'm talking about. In the Hunger Games, when she was like, you said if I won the Hunger Games, you would let me go, and what do you want? What is my reward? You know, you want to fucking kill me again. Same shit. We're in the same situation right here. So, of the people that I've heard that are like, well, he's going to let them go, I'm like, yeah, that's what he should do. But, I don't know, a mirror room, looks like he's going to make them all fight again. And I'm like, well, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. We know he's a psycho, of course, but that's fucked up because they don't have the lab mice, the lab rats, right? Like what he called them. They ain't got no fucking motivation now, man. The motivation for Francis to have started all this shit, because that was his motive. The motivation to survive because you're going to walk out with $5 million in a duffel bag, it's gone. You lied to me the first time. I'm not going to believe you the second time. Because that would be what he said, right? All right, survivors. The last person standing, whoever wins gets all 9 of these $5 million duffel bags. And I would be like, yeah, right, bitch. That's what you told me before. That's what you told me before, and here you are trying to get my ass killed again. I ain't playing. I'm not playing. Kill me. Do whatever. But I'm not playing. I'm not killing these survivors who just went through hell to win over the promise that I'm going to get all their money too, and you're going to let me go? No, I think we've kind of screwed that pooch. You know, I mean, I'm not going to believe you. So no, we're not going to do that. I like the alternative ending. She wakes up, thinks it's a dream, bag, TV, monitor. She sees another group. It tells her, welcome to the club. Sort of like that dark web. Unfriended dark web. You know, that kind of survivor club. Well, in that case, it was a fucking psycho killer club. But you know what I'm saying. So, that's the ending that I would prefer. No, it's not. It's not the ending that I would prefer. It's the ending that I demand. That is the ending of this movie. The bullshit about you having them in an alternate mirror room with a bunch of pork, and they looked rough too. Because she looked rough. If you see the movie, there's a reason they all look rough. There's a reason she looks rough. That was some fucked up shit. And that is House of Nine. I love this movie. Dennis Hopper was great in this movie. I loved all of them. It was a cool cast. Lots of bitchy, catty shit. I liked it. House of Nine. Love you, miss you, bye-bye. See you in the next episode of Battle Royale Festival on my channel. Always remember and never forget that you are a very, very special person, even if you're not locked in a house by a maniac with 8 other motherfuckers that you killed. Well, she didn't kill them, but you know what I'm saying. Don't ruin my ending. Don't ruin my end log, or what do they call it? Epilogue? Yeah, don't ruin my epilogue. You're a very special person, even if you're not locked in a house with 8 other people who have died. Is that better? And you are the survivor, only to walk out and be told, kill the other survivors. Don't tell me you'd trust that shit. If he wasn't going to give you the $5 million, he's not going to give you the 9 times 5. And I'm through talking about it. Love you. Miss you. Bye-bye.